Welcome back to Dysfunction Junction.
We're back. It's Garrett.
I'm Katie.
I remember this time to introduce myself.
Proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much. I didn't even need prompting, except for the note that I have for myself to remember to introduce myself.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
So cool. We thought since last episode, I should say, we were talking about some funny high school injuries. It just made me think about some other instances. So I've always been one of those people, and this is genetic, and I'm blaming my mother for this. I laugh when people fall.
Oh.
110%.
It is the funniest fucking thing. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is, but
I can't control it.
It is a riot when somebody hurts themselves.
Trips and falls, I will laugh all day. So, high school gym class. That was the one class I wanted to skip 100% of the time. I hated the whole dynamic of getting changed in the locker rooms. That was new to me. I was uncomfortable changing in front of people. I felt self-conscious in gym. Just the whole thing. Hated it. Always did. So I had gym with my one friend, Carrie, who is just one of my favorite people on earth. We were a menace together in gym class. Just a menace.
Yes, I can see that.
So there was one class, we were playing volleyball, and somebody yelled my name, and I turned around and got nailed in the face with a volleyball. Which was
From the opposite direction, or they called your name to hit you in the face with the volleyball?
No, somebody was trying to warn me that I was about to get hit in the face, but then I turned around and it hit me directly in the face. While I had braces, because that's a combination that has to happen. So just to lay the groundwork for how elite she and I were in gym class. So there was one day we were playing, I want to say, whatever it was, we were indoors, she ran after a ball or something to get a save. And she tripped and fell and yeeted herself into not a door, just the doorknob. So she just trips, falls, goes flying, and just hits her head on just the doorknob. I don't know how she didn't hit the door. It was just the knob. So then what happens is I see that. She and I start laughing, and I can't get out of it. I just have the giggles, and it's over. I'm not participating anymore. I have to give this my full attention and just laugh it out because I can't. There was another day. And we always would do it where we had our science classes together so that we would always have gym together because we were a menace. And we used to get in trouble in our earth science class because, you had that reference guide.
No.
Do you remember that? So we, for the Regents
Was it
exams,
the laminated thing?
Ours wasn't laminated. It was just a paper, and it was reference tables and stuff that you would use. So you had this big paper thing that you had to keep the whole year. And we defaced ours with all kinds of drawings, and I would draw a picture of Earth and me standing on Earth and a comet hitting only me. Things like that we just thought were really funny. And we used to get in trouble in that class all the time for giggling because it was an easy class and we were a menace. So we had gym class, and we were for some reason late. It's significantly late to gym class.
Were you getting high?
No, that I did not ever do during school. I had friends that did, but I did not. So it was a yoga program that they were doing, and they did it in the wrestling room, so it had those big thick mats on the floor. So we walk in and the lights are off and everybody's in Savasana and laying on the floor, eyes closed, and it's quiet, and they have mood music playing in the background. So now the two of us who are already constantly laughing at things, constantly being disruptive.
You have to set your intention in corpse pose.
We did. Yep. We walked in late. Everybody's already laying down. we try and stop laughing because the teachers already hated us and they had us every
weird.
year
I
and we
can't
were
imagine
always
why.
together. And they were, I swear to God, our, like, the period would come up where we would walk in. They were like, fuck, like, we have to deal with these two again. So we're walking in and it's really quiet and we're like, okay, we gotta stop laughing. We fucking walk in and she immediately catches her foot on the wrestling mats because they were like on the floor.
Right.
In the whole room, like wall to wall. So you had to like step up to get into the room. And she fucking missed that step, trips over, falls flat on her face. And then I was like, bah! And the whole class is like, oh my fucking God, like these two. And then it was just like, the teachers turn around like, guys, please. And I'm like, in no world can I keep this internally. Like, this has to, like, escape from my body or I'll blow up. It was one of the funniest moments, and we just were, like, hissing, laughing so hard. There was, like, other times that we definitely got injured. There was one time in Spanish class. We had Spanish class together.
How'd you get injured in Spanish?
We didn't get injured, but we got the giggles. I don't remember if, like, we were passing things back, passing notes back and forth or what it was, but
Ooh.
I gave her something and she, like, fucking, it hit her as the funniest thing and she, like, scream laughed, like, in, tried to keep it in and, like, or was drinking something and, like, spit out, which, like, something like that, which then I'm like, oh my God, I can't, I shape me from my shelf. I can't stop. Like, I get the giggles and then that's it. So yes, I thought we were both a joy to have in class, but I'm thinking back now and we were a menace together.
Very disruptive, perhaps.
We were a little disruptive. Flip side though, we were getting excellent grades. So like, yes, we were disruptive, but it was because we didn't give a shit because we were acing whatever the class was. But still,
that is, I think, part of why probably AFABs in general don't get diagnosed as often because we are super intelligent and like we were saying with the RSD episode, like we're picking up on multiple pieces of information at the same time. And so we're in the set, like whatever our strength is, like there are people with ADHD who are excellent in STEM classes and fields. Yeah. But, you know, for me, it was like history and language arts and English and art.
Yep.
Those were my jam and I was really, really good at them.
Or yearbook.
But as a result, I also had the extra, because I was really good at it, and I could pick up on the nuances of those things, I was also
somehow
giant
like
dick.
challenged and bored at the same time.
Yes.
Where I didn't give a shit. Like it was easy to me and I wasn't having a hard time and I could like grasp
When
it.
I could
and then
finally
like,
get into
on.
AB classes, that was, I think, probably the best thing for me.
Oh yeah, you know what? I never did them because the RSD, like I felt like, maybe not the RSD, but didn't feel like I was smart enough. Like I was smart, but you're not that smart.
Oh, see,
So
I was
wouldn't sign up
very
for them.
inspired by Elle
themselves out there.
Woods. So I was like, I'm going to fucking do AP classes come hell or high water. And I did every AP class I could, except they had an AP art that like the art teacher, the director of the art department had to like approach you to be considered because it was so competitive.
Damn.
And like, I guess for the AP art exam, like you hardly ever get a 5. And our Allison, who did our Birdsonas, got a 5, and she did a digital art as her submission. Yeah, and the director who ran that program for AP art was like, nobody ever gets a 5 on digital art. So like,
Ooh, I just gotta chill.
yeah, you should
that's so
maybe
cool.
like was really pushing her to change her medium.
Yeah.
Another girl that was in that same program did like oil painting, and her oil painting was really cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, I did AP English in 11th and 12th grade, AP European history, AP American history, AP economics. I think that's all I could take.
I did like a handful of like university to high school, like not the APs, but they were still like
I
college
technically
courses
did
and some
that with,
advanced ones, but not.
yeah, I did that with Spanish, I think, but I don't
Yep.
think anything ever actually happened with those credits because I still had to take a foreign language when I went to college.
Yeah, you know what? I started taking the university in high school. We had done the Regents, and I had gotten an 85 on the Regents. And I remember saying to my Spanish teacher, I signed up for the university in high school, and I just was like, I had other stuff going on, just like disinterested, and I didn't
Yeah.
want to like waste money. And I said to her, I was like, I want to withdraw from the class, and she was like, obviously, why would you want to do that? And I looked her dead in the face, and I was like, I got an 85 on the Regents, which is considered mastery, so I'm not motivated in this class. I feel like I hit a mastery level, so I have no motivation to do well in this class. And
Yeah,
think
I was
it's a
okay in
waste.
Spanish until they tried to teach me past tense, and then I was like, I can't.
Sorry.
You changed every single word. No way.
No, I took it for.
I did well in French though in college though.
Oh, I didn't take
really
French.
enjoyed French.
I took 2 years of. I took it full. Well, I did 2 semesters in college of Spanish. Like we couldn't speak English in the class, so I was like fairly fluent when I left college, and then never used it. So it's I'm a little rusty right now.
You could probably brush up pretty quickly on like Duolingo if you
Yeah,
were to,
like,
travel to Spain or something.
So we I think we're gonna do a Duolingo, like the premium account. We get like a discount with our credit card.
Oh,
So
cool.
I think we're gonna do that because like there's no like if I have it, it's in there. It's just filed
Yeah.
away in the like.
I've got to do
fire
that.
safe.
If we go to Germany, I have to do that because we'll be staying with his family.
So you need to
part of
learn
it.
more than 9.
Yes.
Duh.
Danke.
That was all I got of the German when we went on our trip. I just tried to learn enough to like get us through a brief interaction, and I had greeted somebody and like ordered something and then thanked her for it, and she started conversation with me, and she saw the look of sheer terror on my face and was like, okay, have a nice day.
That was me trying to speak Spanish when I was in Barcelona.
Yeah.
And I was like, just trying to
What have I
order a
done?
sandwich. And I was like, turkey?
¿Cómo se dice turkey?
Turkey. But yeah, speaking of injuries in school and gym class, in middle school, we had a gymnastics unit.
Oh, no.
My friend, I was on the balance beam, and my
Oh,
friend
no.
at the time got under the balance beam and was like making faces at me.
Nope.
And I look down and I see her, and she burst out laughing when I guess when she saw my face. And so I lost my balance and would have, I'm sure, ruptured something if I had been male or had
like,
male
tore a
genitalia.
butthole or something.
Yeah, no, I was very sore. And then when I did actual gymnastics when I was in high school, when I stopped cheerleading, I started taking gymnastics classes because I liked it. And I fell off the balance beam, but on the side, like I didn't straddle it. I've like fell down the side of it. And so I had a bruise going all the way down my thigh on the outside. I couldn't wear jeans for like a week because it was so swollen.
I would like to add that several years ago, Katie was walking up the stairs at work, fell up them, and put a fucking dent in her leg that she still has. So there is a history here.
To be fair, the stairs at work are like
They're a death
cement,
trap.
but they also have like steel, like hardened steel edges on them.
Tips. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I just tripped and really slammed my shin into it. And I asked my doctor because it, like, I think actually, I don't know if you can still see it,
Yeah,
but
you can.
yeah.
It practically has a shadow.
yeah,
It's
it's like a So yeah, this happened before the panty,
Yep.
and it's just like this little red mark on my shin. I was showering the other day, and I was like, oh, it's pronounced.
Oh, it has a shadow.
And I asked my GP about it, and he was like, yeah, like, it's just an evolution thing because your your body will heal it so that the wound closes and you don't get an infection, but it's not going to waste energy to, like, rebuild those tissues.
But I want it to.
because
Waste the energy.
you don't, like, need that to survive. So he's like, it's just an evolution thing. And I was like, so I'm just going to... My leg modeling career is
appeal this?
over.
How can I appeal this decision to convince my body to fully heal it? because I am not a hunter-gatherer and I just want my leg fixed.
I'll never be a leg model. But why male
Damn it.
models?
What movie was that where somebody wanted to be a
Zoolander?
hand model?
It was Zoolander.
Was it the hands in Zoolander?
Yeah, because the guy from X-Files had his hand in a hyperbaric chamber.
That's right. Yes.
He went to like grab something.
Yes.
Zoolander's like, I know that hand. Fall 1987 watch catalog.
I
Or
forgot
some
about
bullshit like that.
that. Yeah.
He also said something. He was like, he's like, hand models are a different breed. We're smarter than you. Zoolander's like, but why male models? It's like, are you kidding me? I just told you why. You're stupid.
But why?
And he said, but then he said something like, pull the sweater and the whole thing will unravel. And Brady Bunch lady was like, do you mean pull the string and the whole sweater will unravel?
You know, you said that and it didn't even...
Yeah, I did not get the joke when I was young and watching that movie.
Oh.
You'd be a great hand model.
I missed my calling. And I don't think I had any weird injuries that my body was like, yeah, we don't need to worry about that. Although I did open, you know those jars that have like the tops that almost like clamp down? It has that like metal. So I went to open one of those the other day, but I like started to and then it like flew up and it caught the palm of my hand. It bruised the palm of my hand. It hurt so bad. I had a chill.
Little baby banana.
Yeah. I was like, it happened and I was like, oh my God.
That's the
hurts so
worst.
bad.
Like sends the tingles up your neck.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it like took me a second. I was here by myself and I was like, just gonna breathe.
That happened to
my way
me.
through this.
What was I doing? That happened to me at home the other day. And I was like filling up my cat's food dishes because I just leave kibble in there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep like a plastic like Rubbermaid container with the kibble in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like refilling that and refilling their food bowls, and I hit the center of the top of my head on the corner of my wall.
And you saw God.
Yeah,
Jod.
it was that I saw Jod, and I saw it was that kind of thing where I was like,
I think I'm dead.
yeah, like and it was one of those moments where it was like, you're so glad that you're alone, because I know that if like PK had been there and been like, oh my God, are you okay? I would have lost. I would have cried, but also probably like snapped at him because I was so stunned by how much it hurt. Because what the fuck?
I was getting ready to go for a walk and I was like, okay, I'm like at the back door, like getting all my stuff. And I bent over to like tie my shoe or something. And I bent like fast and hit my forehead on the corner of our countertop.
Oh my
which
God.
fortunately is like rounded, but it's like
Still granite.
Yeah. And I had that moment where I was like, am I dead? Am I dead? What have I done?
Like the end of Inception where you don't know where you are.
The top was just spinning and my brain was like, oh no. You really did it this time. So I guess the moral of this story is we are accident prone.
A bit. Yeah.
A little accident prone.
It's been a while since I've crashed my car though. So
Oh,
been like 10
sweet
years.
Fucking Jesus.
Knock
I
on
just
wood.
knocked on wood because I am
Thank
also very stitious.
My car insurance just renewed, so they can't raise my premiums until next October.
I haven't cried. I can't believe she just said those words out loud. It's so funny because like my mom is very superstitious. She's gonna hear this and like grab onto the side of her chair like, oh my God.
I did back my car into like a stationary wooden planter at a restaurant. So I have done that. I just haven't hit another car, and another car hasn't hit me.
Yeah.
But lately driving around, I feel like there are some other drivers here that have lost the will to live and are just praying for somebody to take them out.
So I'm not gonna say like I'm not an aggressive driver, like an overly fast driver. I'm just like a please move. Like if I want to go a little bit faster, you just please move. I was being driven off the road the other day going into work. I was going like, I would say between 78 and 80, like
Holy shit.
cruising.
On on 90?
On the throughway.
Yeah, okay.
So like everybody's
So the speed limit on that road, guys, is 65.
Yeah.
So
I was
I
going
thought
like,
you were going like 80 on 890, where the speed limit is 55.
oh,
I
and
was
they
like,
will pull you over.
They will. Oh, you'll be crucified if you go that speed on that road.
So I was like, and I think I had to like move over like quickly into the middle lane because somebody was like crawling into my trunk. I was like, it is 7 o'clock in the morning. Settle down.
Totally. No, there's been a lot of
Crazy.
that lately. And like, even coming here today, there were like people weaving in and out of traffic. And I was like, guys, it is a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
You cannot possibly be headed somewhere urgently
Settle
at
down.
9:30.
Right.
Like, relax. There's
Yeah.
nothing happening. The farmer's market will still be there.
Yes.
You're fine.
Yes.
What is the deal?
Yes.
Like, that the apple orchard will remain open.
Yeah, it is okay. Yeah, and they it's definitely, I think, been, I would say, post-pandemic. It's definitely
It's been
gotten
wild.
worse.
And
Yeah.
it is just, yeah. So there's been some times lately where I'm like, oh,
I'm not the problem.
it's been very like, is there a way I can like make sure my airbags work?
Oh, yeah. Can I just do like a little quick test?
How are you sure?
I remember driving in college because I commuted, and I was on my way onto campus, and I thought it was a glove in the road, on the thruway, and ran over it, and it was a piece of metal, and it flew up and hit the underside of my car, and my airbags almost deployed. Like, I pulled right over, and I got the warning sign on my dash that, like, my airbags almost went off. It was the scariest thing.
I didn't know there was a warning for that.
Yeah, it was like a... My car was like, ho, ho, ho. Bitch, that was close. That's what the warning said to me.
I had no idea. That would... What is the purpose of that warning?
Yeah, and...
Like, either... Like, because it comes out at, like, 300 miles an hour, so it's not like I'm going to see that light and be like, okay, lean back.
Yep, better brace myself. And I don't know if it was, like... Yeah, I got some kind of, like, alert on my dash. I'll have to, like, look up and see if I can find what it was.
I remember when I got, so the last accident I got into where they didn't total my car, but should have, because my car was like $1,000 away from being paid off at the time, I think, and they did $12,000 worth of repairs
God.
to my Nissan Versa.
Yeah, like, okay, folks.
Like, effectively the whole front end of my car. The only thing they didn't really have to replace, like, they didn't have to replace my frame, and they didn't have to replace my engine, but they had to replace my wiper motor, my radiator,
Like, let's just
like all
wrap it up here, guys.
the fluid containers, so like my wiper fluid container, all the lights, everything. Like, it was just insane. Couldn't open my passenger side door
Oh my God.
because of how
Alignment.
the front quarter panel had like crunched in, because I T-boned this girl who cut me off on Central. And I mean, I hit her at 35 miles an hour because she cut in front of me.
Yeah. And honestly, she's lucky that's the speed you were going. Because,
Yeah, she's lucky I was on that part of the road and
There's-
not
yeah.
where it was, the speed limit was 40, and I had just
and
left.
people go 50 plus.
Yeah. Yeah, but her passenger window shattered. So yeah, no, I hit her pretty hard. But yeah. Oh no, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Damage to your car. They didn't total it.
Oh yeah, so but my airbags didn't deploy. And so
Did your dashboard warn you how close
no,
you
but
came?
I asked them that because I took it over to the collision center on Central Ave. And I was like, should I be concerned that my airbags didn't deploy? And they were like, well, you probably just hit your brakes fast enough that you weren't going at enough of a speed to like trigger it. And I was like,
that makes sense why if I was on the throughway going like, 75 and I hit something
that's true. Maybe that was it then. So I was like, yeah, but are we sure that they're going to work? Like,
Yeah, I'm just like a little
because I was
concerned.
again, like, there was no warning light. And they were like, no, a light would turn on if there was a problem with the airbags. And I was like, that doesn't make me feel better. So like the next
Like, oh,
time
don't
this
worry.
happens,
When they fail, the car will tell you afterwards.
you'll get a light when you have a cracked sternum because the seatbelt's the only thing saving you.
Yes, that's all.
Yeah, that was a
Silly
wild car accident.
Silly girl.
And it
'Cause
happened
that's
in
the term.
November, and so I was wearing a thick wool sweater with a pea coat. Whoops.
And sweating.
With a pea coat. No, but I had also this giant white scarf around my neck. Oh, I was like,
Can't put my arms down.
literally, but like my pea coat was like bright red. It was the cute. I'm such a cute winter person.
So fucking cute.
It's true. I am the cutest little girl in winter. Like, I love it when
love
it
it.
snows. It like makes my eyes look bluer. The whole thing.
Oh yeah, she gets real pumped.
Oh, I love it.
I'm at the other end of that spectrum where I'm like, if the sun doesn't fucking come out soon, I'm going to crumple up into a ball.
I told PK he needs to start using his lamp again.
Oh, I have to. It's a good reminder. I got to get mine out. Now I'm grumpy, and that's probably why.
Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, but the car that was behind me actually stopped. It was this older gentleman, and he came over and was like at the window of my car, and he was like, "Are you okay?" And checked on me. But I was so disoriented because my white scarf had blown up into my face when I stopped. So I was like looking around, and I was like, "Where are the airbags?" And he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "But where are the airbags?"
You're just trapped in your scarf. Like, somebody help me. He's like, "Man,
I'm
just
Tom
pull your
Hanks
scarf down."
in the dry cleaning bag on Celebrity Jeopardy.
I'm trapped.
And he was like, I was like, well, there's no airbag. And he was like, no, there isn't. Are you okay? And I was like, I was so disoriented because it happened so fast.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that guy was very nice. He gave me his number to tell my insurance company to call him. And he,
oh, that's nice.
Yeah, he was very nice. I don't know if they ever did. I do know that I got, my deductible was $500 and I got $450 back. So they took it to arbitration.
Not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. We had to have work done on my car when we hit a deer, and
that was horrible.
It was awful. And when I went to pick up my car, so I'm standing outside of this collision place, like talking to this dude, and he's like going over like, okay, like this, and like making sure that like none of my lights are coming on my dash, like everything's working, like before I take it back. So as we're standing there having this conversation, this lady pulls in. And she's trying to turn her car around, and she, just the irony of standing outside the collision center, and she backs her car into their fence, and the guy's standing there, and he was like a manager or something, and he's watching it, and he just like, the two of us just stood there, and then I start laughing, because I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's out of a TV show.
Yes, like, this is absurd, and he's standing there like, I don't get paid enough. Because I had so many issues with getting my car fixed, and they had it for like 6 weeks because there was like some part they needed a special for, like whatever. But it had just been like so much back and forth on the phone between he and I, and like,
oh, and you know that lady is going to be like, your fence dented my car,
your
so
fence
you
came out of nowhere, like in 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah, fucker came out of nowhere. Let's get some French toast.
That was this lady. She was just like, it was just so, it was one of the like more comical moments of my life where we're both just standing there like, huh. And I still think like to this day, I'm like, bah.
I've seen that a few times where like I've watched people, actually it happened yesterday when I was walking my car after work, and somebody was pulling out of a parallel parked spot outside that bakery. Mm-hmm. And I'm like watching them, and I'm like, you've got like 5 feet behind you before the next car, like just back up so that you can get around the car in front of you. And they're like just going for it with this hard turn to get into traffic. And I was just like, yeah. And it was that thing where I'm like, I feel like maybe you're making it, but like, why wouldn't you just back up? Like even 1 foot, you'd give yourself breathing room to pull into traffic like a normal person. And so then I'm like, what the fuck? And it was a newer car too. And so I'm like, I like kind of like peeked in to see like who was driving.
Oh, I have to.
Yeah, it was a man who was probably our age, and I was just like, all right.
Did you look at your car before you got in it? Because
and it was a sedan too. So like, had it been like a, I don't know, like an Expedition or something,
right? Like I can Tahoe, see where it's like.
Then I could see where you're like, oh fuck,
a little concerned.
Yeah,
I watched a lady on a small highway try and take a left-hand turn across the other lane and immediately realized what she was doing. And I literally was in my car like, oh no, thinking I'm about to see a head-on collision.
What?
Yeah, she tried to take on,
like she's driving?
85. Yeah, so like, you know, when you're headed out, like you're going to get on, like you're headed to 90.
Yeah.
We were just at the point where it starts going into 2 lanes. She tried and take a left-hand turn. Yeah. It was a crazy thing.
To go where? There's nowhere to go.
I don't know. I don't know what her plan was, but she like went to do it and then was like, "Oh shit," and like corrected. And it was me and 2 other cars, and we were all like, "You're a fucking idiot."
There's been so many times recently where I've like watched stuff happen in front of me, and my hands go up like,
Oh, that's
no.
exactly what I was doing in the car. My hand was on my head and I was like, oh, no, don't do
Or
that.
sitting at a traffic light and I see something else happen before my light turns and I'm like,
oh my God.
I don't have time to give a witness statement.
Yes, like.
It's like that road rage thing I saw that day.
Yeah. Like,
That was
I
terrifying.
don't want to even.
Yeah.
That happened to me once when I was a teenager. A guy, like, chasing me down into a parking lot.
That happened to Jake before
Yeah.
we went on vacation. Like,
Yep.
2 days before we went on vacation. Dented his car.
It's
because he
crazy.
stopped at a yellow light.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, annoying when somebody stops at a yellow
for
light when
sure.
you both could have made it.
Yeah.
But, like,
I'm yelling at you in my car, but I'm not getting out of my car or hitting your car.
followed him for miles and then got out of the car and hit his car, dented it. And, like, I think it dented his bumper, so it was, like, the plastic parts.
Yeah.
But still.
Still,
Like,
you have to be a lunatic.
What kind of deranged,
Yeah.
psychopath does that? Like,
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
I, like, accidentally cut somebody off. I had my license for, like, 2 weeks.
Ugh.
Like, I had a car with a bad blind spot, and it was,
And you
like...
really don't know your blind spots.
Right, when you're 16, and
Yeah. You don't understand what it means. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it was like nobody was going fast. Like, it wasn't a crazy spot. And I put on my blinker and I changed lanes and I accidentally cut him off. And he, like, slammed on his horn, like, the hands start waving. And, like, clearly if you pulled up next to me, you could see I am a child driving a car. I'm waving like I'm sorry. And he was, like, really enraged. So I pulled into, like, a big shopping center parking lot to get away from him. And he followed me. And I wound up parking my car behind, like, a truck so that he couldn't see me. And he drove around that parking lot, like, twice looking for me.
Oh, my God.
And fortunately, I had, like, a friend in the car, and I think, like,
thank God.
Like, yeah. Like,
At least you weren't alone.
People.
Fuck.
Yeah. And it happened to me another
Oh, my
time.
God.
where
I would have
somebody
cried
did
if
that.
I had been alone.
I was, like, really, really worried. And I did read something, like, they said, like, from a personal safety perspective, to, like, head towards a police station, like, if you know where there's one close by. And
Yeah.
I've done that,
I've
like,
heard
on
that
foot.
or a gas station because
Yeah.
gas stations have tons of cameras.
Oh, that's a good idea,
over
too.
the pumps and everything.
Yeah.
And they're super well lit.
Yeah.
So if it's like evening
And there's, like,
time,
always people at a gas station.
exactly. And I feel like the clerks at gas stations are trained to deal with lunatics.
Yes.
So, like, if possible, like, just
Panic
park
button.
next to the door
Yeah.
and bolt inside and, like,
Right.
leave it there. But yeah,
It was wild.
safety tip from the Bars Ankle High.
Oh, yeah, there'll be more of those. We have other stories to share, close calls, dodging death. We talked
Dodging
about
death.
doing a dodging death episode. If you have stories
Yeah.
about dodging death, because we unfortunately both have a multitude.
Too many, really.
Too many. To where, when we're using that great hindsight, we're going, ooh.
Yeah. Fun fact, one of the ideas for the name of this podcast was like hindsight insight or something like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Or something to do with hindsight because woof.
Yep. Think back and I go, oh, that was one of my 9 lives. That road rage incident, definitely one of my 9 lives.
Right up.
Yep. Sucked that one right up. Well, thank you for tuning in to another Dysfunction Junction. We successfully went off the rails as per usual.
I like these.
Yeah, these are fun.
Yeah.
I think it's good to get all these out so
Yes.
that we can stay on some kind of topic when the time comes.
Yeah. Yeah, it does help.
It's like shaking out laundry,
Yes. Yeah. But anyway.
We will talk to you again. I don't know. We do these, every couple of weeks?
Usually every 2 weeks. This one, there might be a little bit of a longer break for, I think, Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because
There might be like a hiccup, but if so, we'll put a post up in Patreon.
Yeah,
if there's a change in the release schedule.
Same thing with our regular episodes. If there's any kind of, change with the holidays or something, we'll let everybody know at least in advance so you know what's going on. And we will talk to you soon. And remember to be kind. Are we doing that again?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, the Bars Ankle High.
Bars Ankle High.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be here next Thursday with a brand new episode to delight your brain juices. In the meantime, the best way to support us is to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast streaming platform. You can keep up with us during the week on Instagram and Facebook at The Bars Ankle High, and on Twitter at Ankle High Pod. If you want even more ankle-high hot takes in your life and have a few dollars to spare, consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/thebarisAnkleHigh. $5 anklets and $10 limbo champions get access to our bonus episodes full of our karaoke attempts, Am I the Asshole discussions, and wondering how we even managed to survive this long. Folks in our limbo champion tier also get access to ad-free episodes every single week. In the meantime, remember to be kind to yourself because the bar is ankle high.